Good evening and welcome to National Broadcasting News India. Tonight's news update. Here are the top stories. Air India flight veers off runway during landing at Mumbai airport. Aircraft suffers damage. All passengers disembarked. An Air India flight AI 2744 flying from Kochi to Mumbai failed to stop within the designated runway length while landing at Mumbai airport on Monday morning, resulting in a runway excursion after touchdown, Air India spokesperson said. As per the further information, the aircraft was taxied safely to the gate and all passengers and crew members were disembarked safely. Bangladesh plane crash. Air Force training aircraft slams into college canteen in Uttara. 1 dead, 4 injured. A Bangladesh Air Force training aircraft crashed in Uttara of Dhaka on Monday afternoon, killing 1 person and injuring 4 others as reported. As per an official announcement made by the Inter-Services Public Relations Directorate, the plane, an F-7 BGI training aircraft, had departed at 1:06 p.m. and crashed at about 1:30 p.m. near Milestone College, Uttara. Rahul Gandhi alleges MPs not allowed to speak. Government says ready to debate. Lok Sabha adjourned. Parliament's monsoon session is all set to commence on Monday as the opposition parties look to discuss several key issues including the Pahalgam terror attacks and the Bihar voter list revision ahead of the assembly polls. Earlier on Sunday, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju said that the government has agreed to discuss the issues raised by the opposition parties. Himachal weather, newlywed couple killed. Schools shut amid heavy rainfall. Monsoon continues to wreak the state of Himachal Pradesh, throwing life out of gear and leaving behind a trail of destruction. A newlywed couple lost their lives, schools were forced to shut down, the hundreds of roads remained blocked as relentless downpours triggered landslides and flash floods across the state. ECB poses interest rate cuts amid US tariff risks. The European Central Bank has halted its interest rate cutting cycle after 8 consecutive cuts. The main rate remains at 2%. This decision was influenced by concerns over the possibility of steep US tariffs on EU goods, which could hurt European exports and economic recovery. Petrochemical industry facing restructuring across EU. Europe's petrochemical industry is seeing a wave of plant closures and asset sales due to rising energy costs, strict environmental rules, and cheaper competition from Asia. The European Commission is considering policy support to retain key industrial capabilities. EU braces for trade war with the US. With the US deadline looming, the EU is preparing for a potential trade conflict. With the US deadline looming, the EU is preparing for a potential trade conflict. If the US imposes tariffs, the EU may retaliate with countermeasures including levies on American tech services and restrictions on US firms in public contracts. Wildfires and heat wave continue across southern Europe. Europe is still struggling with extreme summer weather. Heat waves have triggered wildfires in Greece, Italy, Spain, and Turkey, displacing over 50,000 people and claiming several lives. Emergency services remain on high alert. Russia launches massive air assault on Kyiv. Ahead of crucial NATO and EU meetings on arms support, Russia carried out one of its biggest drone and missile attacks on Kyiv, killing 2 civilians and injuring 15. The strike signals Moscow's intent to pressure Western governments. US says it cannot compel Israel on Lebanon actions. US Special Envoy Thomas Barak clarified that the US cannot compel Israel to do anything in the ongoing Lebanon border conflict. This comes amid increasing international concerns over escalating violence in the region. 8 killed in Israeli strike amid Gaza offensive. Amid continued operations in central Gaza, at least 8 civilians died when Israeli tanks advanced into Deir el-Bala. Hospitals also recorded 17 deaths from air raids elsewhere across the Strait, raising alarm about the escalating humanitarian crisis. Inquiry launched into 1984 miners' riot at Orgrave. The UK government has initiated an inquiry into the Battle of Overgrave, a violent clash during the 1984 miners' strike. Led by Bishop Pete Wilcox, the probe aims to uncover police actions and access internal government documents related to the confrontation with riot police. Consumer confidence hits 3-year low. A new Deloitte survey indicates that British consumer sentiment experienced its largest drop in nearly 3 years, signaling growing public anxiety about job security and economic prospects. Water industry overhaul proposed. A government-commissioned review recommends sweeping reforms for the UK's privatised water sector. Proposed changes include creating a single powerful regulator to oversee investment, ownership, and environmental compliance, especially targeting Thames Water's debt crisis. Abacus Storage King eyes $2.17 billion Australian dollars takeover. Australian storage firm Abacus Storage King has granted access to its financial records for a proposed takeover bid of $2.17 billion Australian dollars by a consortium led by Key Corp and Public Storage. The deal is currently under due diligence. South 32's manganese output beats forecasts. South 32 reported fourth quarter manganese production exceeded analyst expectations, aided by resumed exports post-cyclone delays. Its shares rose by 2.8% following the report. Wallabies forward Valentini eager for Lions crash. Australia's rugby forward Rob Valentini is ready to return from injury for the British and Irish Lions final tour match in Melbourne. Valentini described facing the Lions as a hungry homecoming. FIFA President Infantino cautions after England player faces racist abuse. FIFA chief Gianni Infantino pledged full support for England defender Jess Carter, who was targeted by racist abuse during Euro 2025 and has since left social media. The Football Association and UEFA are coordinating with UK police and social platforms to pursue action. Infantino urged that no player should be discriminated against. Caitlin Clark expected to miss game versus Liberty. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, recovering from right groin injury, is likely to sit out their upcoming game against the New York Liberty. The Fever will proceed cautiously with her condition. Managing soft tissue injuries has been an ongoing concern. That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching. We will be back with more news tomorrow. Goodbye.